Hello everyone, welcome back to Vikas Biology. So in this video I'm going to discuss about the DNA fingerprinting or genetic fingerprinting or DNA profiling. Okay, so it is one of the important concept as far as your examination is concerned. Okay, so it will be asked for 5 marks in the examination. So let us discuss start with DNA fingerprinting. Okay, so what is this DNA fingerprinting mechanism actually? So DNA fingerprinting. So I think you heard about this mechanism, that is DNA fingerprinting. So where it is most commonly it is used in forensic science, isn't it? So while in the discovery of or in the identification of the culprits or the criminals, isn't it? So most commonly you heard about DNA fingerprinting. So it is useful in the identification of criminals or culprits in a crime. Okay. So what is this DNA fingerprinting? ಏನಿದು DNA fingerprinting ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ see you know that fingerprint ಯಾಕೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ fingerprinting ಅಂತ ನೇಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು? So you know that fingerprinting ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ it is specific for each person, isn't it? So signature can be copied. Signature ಯಾರು ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, but fingerprint cannot be copied, isn't it? So it is identified or it is an identity. It is the unique identity for each and every person, and it is unique for a particular person, isn't it? Similarly, the genetic identity of a person, the identity in the gene level, a genetic identity of a person, it is unique for a particular person, and it is different from one person to another person. Andre nanna genetic identity, it is differing from you people. Similarly, your genetic identity, it is differing from the others, but the genetic identity of a particular person, it is unique for that person only, and it is differing from one person to another person, except in case of identical twins. Identical twins bittu, in other cases the genetic identity, it is unique for a particular person and it is differing from one person to another person. All of us, we are differing from each other with very minute differences in our genes or in our DNA. So that is nearly 1% differences that can be seen from one person to another person. Okay, but 99% of the DNA or the genes which are found in us, it is very much similar, which are identical. Nearly 1% differences that can be seen in DNA of one person to another person. Okay, except in case of identical twins, because identical twins, you know, they are produced from the same zygote by the splitting up of the same zygote. Hence, all the gene combinations which are similar between those two persons in case of identical twins. But except that, beside the identical twins, almost all human beings, all of us, we are differing in nearly 1% differences in our DNA or in our genetic material. So that helps in identification of the person at the gene level. That is what is called as DNA fingerprinting. So what is this DNA fingerprinting? So DNA fingerprinting is nothing but identification of a person. Identification of a person at molecular level. Identification of person at gene level or molecular level. Identification of a person at gene level or molecular level, that is what is called as DNA fingerprinting. This is also known as DNA profiling. See, this DNA profiling or DNA fingerprinting, as I said, you know, it is unique for a particular person and it is different from one person to another person. Okay, so that differences in DNA from one person to another person. So there are some specific regions on the DNA. Remember this one, very important. There are some specific regions on the DNA, so which are found in repeated sequences, or they are found in repeated manner. And those specific sequences which are found in repeated manner, and they are what is called as VNTR sequences. VNTRS. The sequences which is found in the DNA, which are in repeated manner, some sequences for about 10 to 15 bases. Some sequences for about 10 to 15 bases in the DNA, they are found repeatedly. And those repeated sequences are what is called as VNTR sequences. So what is this VNTR sequence? VNTR is nothing but variable. V stands for variable, N stands for number, then T stands for tandem, then R stands for repeated. R stands for repeated. Variable number tandem repeated sequences. VNTR is nothing but variable number tandem repeated sequences. It means those repeated sequences, their number will be varied. Okay, and that's why they were named as VNTR sequences, and these are unique for a particular person. I said nearly 99% of the DNA which is found in the human beings from one person to another person which is similar. But the only difference is nearly 1% difference that can be observed from one person to another person, and that differences is found in these sequences, that is in variable number tandem repeated sequences. So these are the specific sites, are the repeated sites. They are found in a repeated manner. Here and there in the DNA, here and there in the chromosome, they occurs repeatedly. These repeated sequences on the DNA, they are what is called as variable number. They vary in their number. Okay, variable number tandem repeated sequences. So these sequences are very much essential for or to conduct DNA fingerprinting. Okay, so I think you heard about SAT chromosomes. SAT, that is satellite chromosomes. Okay, so SAT chromosomes, so that is nothing but the regions on the chromosomes where it means beyond the terminal sites of the chromosome, you know. So beyond that also, so there are some regions, specific regions which are found in the chromosome. Those chromosomes are called as SAT chromosomes. That is cyanoacidothymidine. It's an unusual or a special base which is found in that region. That is what is called as cyanoacidothymidine. SAT stands for cyanoacidothymidine. These regions are also unique for a person, and they are the major regions. That is nothing but the VNTRS, which helps in DNA fingerprinting or identification of a person at the molecular level, because they are differing from one person to another person. Okay, so what is DNA fingerprinting? It is nothing but identification of a person from one at the molecular level or at the gene level. So that is what is called as DNA fingerprinting. It is unique for a particular person and different from one person to another person. The major differences is mainly due to the presence of these sequences. That is nothing but the VNTRS sequences, variable number tandem repeated sequences. That is nothing but they are found in the SAT chromosome regions. SAT is nothing but cyanoacidothymidine. Okay, so there are some chromosomes in human beings which are said to be the SAT chromosomes, which mainly helps in DNA profiling or DNA fingerprinting. So here we are creating a profile. I think you know what is a profile. A person's profile, one person's profile is different from another person's profile, isn't it? So ಈಗ ನನ್ನ profile ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, it means work experience ಇರಬಹುದು, the career, my education is different from other person, isn't it? So educational qualification may be same, but the work experience and the workplace, that may be different from one person to another person, isn't it? So it is just like creating a profile. So here also the profile, the molecular profile or DNA profile of one person is different from another person. So this is also called as genetic fingerprinting. DNA fingerprinting is also called as genetic fingerprinting. Mainly it can be used in forensic science or in identification of the parentage or disputed parentage, or reuniting the child with the parent, or identification of an immigrant. So for various purposes DNA fingerprinting can be used. Okay, see, for the first time DNA fingerprinting was first introduced by, where it was first introduced by a person what is called as Alec Jeffreys. Okay, DNA fingerprinting was first introduced by Alec Jeffreys. Alec Jeffreys. It was first introduced by a person what is called as Alec Jeffreys. Alec Jeffreys. Okay, in 1985. In 1985 in Leicester University of UK. Leicester University of UK. So where Alec Jeffreys, who first invented the DNA fingerprinting technique. Okay. So thereafter in India, it was first introduced to India by the two persons known as Lalji Singh and Kashyap. In India, it was first introduced by Kashyap and Lalji Singh. Okay, so they first introduced DNA fingerprinting technique in India. Lalji Singh and Kashyap. Okay, but first time the DNA fingerprinting was introduced by or invented by, so that is Alec Jeffreys in Leicester University of UK, London. Okay, so let us look into the requirements for DNA fingerprinting. ಏನೇನು ಬೇಕು DNA fingerprinting ಗೆ? Okay. See, the DNA fingerprinting that requires some basic requirements. So that is like the sample. Sample is very much necessary for DNA fingerprinting. So without sample we cannot conduct DNA fingerprinting, because samples is very much necessary, because the DNA has to be extracted from the sample. Sample indane DNA na isolate ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ samples are very much necessary in order to carry out the DNA fingerprinting. The samples may be, it may be the blood smear. Okay, it may be the sample, it may be the blood, or it may be the hair with root. Hair with root, because the root contains the DNA. Hair with root. So then any other samples like semen, then vaginal swab. Okay, so it can be used in case of the rape and other cases like vaginal swabs, then semen. So then any other tissues, any tissues from human beings. Okay, so or it may be the skin, whatever it may be. Okay, so any sample that consists of DNA, where that can be used as a sample. Any tissue or any cell that consists of DNA, that can be used as a sample for creating a DNA profile. Okay, but RBCs cannot be used, erythrocytes, because you know that RBCs, the matured RBCs are enucleated, you know. So hence the matured RBCs, they cannot be used because they are enucleated, that doesn't consist of nucleus, hence there is no DNA in them, hence matured RBCs cannot be used. Except that the other cells in the body, they can be used for DNA fingerprinting procedure. Okay, so besides the sample, the other requirements like gel electrophoretic plate, then X-ray, thereafter that nitrocellulose sheet, and DNA probes. So these are the major requirements for DNA fingerprinting. In order to carry out DNA fingerprinting, the sample, then gel electrophoretic plate, the X-rays, then nitrocellulose sheet, then DNA probes are the major requirements for the DNA fingerprinting. So let us look into the steps or the procedure which is involved in DNA fingerprinting. Okay, see, first the sample collected from the place of crime, or it is collected from the person, or it may be collected from sometimes from the dead bodies, so which cannot be identified. Okay, so for example, the dead bodies, the person may died because of fire. In such cases also, if the body cannot be identified, so then the DNA of that person will be isolated, will be selected, or sample will be taken by that person. Okay, so the collected sample, from the collected sample, the first step is the DNA should be isolated. Isolating the DNA from sample. So whatever it may be the sample, the DNA should be isolated from them first. So usually the samples like hair, they consist of very minimum amount of DNA. Okay, but to carry out DNA fingerprinting, so 1 microgram of DNA is necessary, at least sufficient. It should be 1 micrograms. So thereafter it can be multiplied, it can be amplified. So first thing is isolating the DNA from the sample. Sample in the first DNA ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, isolate ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So for that we are following refrigerator centrifugation. For that we are following refrigerator centrifugation. So by this method, it means it is nothing but the process what is called as a centrifugation. So you know, these are nothing but the cells. From that the DNA, the cells are centrifuged. Here the cells are centrifuged under high speed of rotation, that is the refrigerated centrifugation. Means the cooling condition should be maintained, because it may the centrifugation may generate heat. For that reason the cooling condition should be maintained. So where an instrument called as refrigerator centrifugation, by that the DNA can be isolated. So by putting the cells inside the centrifugation tube, by adding the suitable media or the solution, so then DNA of those cells will be isolated. So this is the first step. See here, this is isolated DNA. So DNA from those cells that can be isolated, and this is what is regarded as the isolated DNA. This is the isolated DNA. Okay. So if the amount of the DNA which is available in the sample if it is limited. So then the DNA has to be amplified. The first step is isolation. Isolating the DNA from the sample by means of refrigerator centrifugation method by using suitable solvents. After isolating the DNA, if the amount of the DNA is very much less or it is negligible amount, if it is available in the negligible amount, so then the DNA has to be amplified. Amplified means it has to be increase in the number of copies of the DNA. The amplification of the DNA, amplification is nothing but increasing copies of the DNA, amplification. The DNA has to be amplified by using an instrument what is called as PCR. PCR is nothing but polymerase chain reaction. PCR stands for polymerase chain reaction. See, by using PCR, so where we can amplify the DNA. Amplification is nothing but increase in the number of copies of DNA. So amount of DNA will be doubled. Whatever the amount of DNA available in the collected space or it is available in the sample, so that can be amplified by using a technique what is called as polymerase chain reaction. So with this instrument where we can amplify the DNA or increase the number of copies of DNA molecule. Okay, so that is the next step. So then next one is then digestion of DNA. Digestion of DNA by using REN. So what is this REN? REN is nothing but restriction endonucleases. Restriction endonucleases. REN is nothing but restriction endonucleases. Okay. So restriction endonucleases are nothing but the enzymes, which are the enzymes which cuts the DNA at specific sites. The enzymes which cuts the DNA at specific site. You heard about nucleases. What are nucleases? Nucleases are nothing but the enzymes which usually they cuts the DNA. There are two kinds in that. One is exonuclease, another one is endonuclease. Exonucleases are the enzyme which cuts the DNA away from the restriction site. It means outside the sites. Whereas endonucleases are the enzyme which cuts the DNA within the site. And the DNA ಒಳಗಡೆನೆ DNA ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಂತ enzymes of endonucleases. ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ restriction endonucleases ಅಂದ್ರೆ these are the enzymes which cuts the DNA at specific site within the DNA. Within DNA molecule they cuts the DNA at specific site. Hence the isolated DNA should be undergone digestion with the help of restriction endonucleases. What it will do? See, this enzyme that cuts the DNA at specific sites into variable fragments. The fragments of various length. Okay, so different lengths of the fragments they were produced by digesting the DNA with restriction endonucleases, because the digestion of the DNA is very much important or very much necessary, because the DNA has to be separated by means of gel electrophoresis technique. The fragments of the DNA later it has to be separated by means of gel electrophoresis. So before that the DNA should be digested with REN, that is restriction endonucleases enzyme. So where this enzyme that will cut the DNA into fragments of various length. Okay, so what is the next step here? That is digestion of DNA with restriction endonucleases enzyme. Okay, so after once the DNA gets treated with the restriction endonucleases enzyme, so this is the isolated DNA. This is isolated DNA from the sample. Isolated DNA from the sample. So thereafter the DNA is broken into fragments of various length. Fragments of various length. So by the action of REN, that is restriction endonucleases. By using restriction endonucleases, the DNA is broken down into various fragments. Okay, fragments of various length. So this is the next step, the third step. Okay. So then the fourth step is separation of fragments by using. The fourth step is separation of fragments. Separation of fragments by gel electrophoresis. Separation of fragments by a technique what is called as gel electrophoresis. Okay. See, electrophoresis is a technique. So where it involves the separation of compounds based on their charge. It is a technique mainly used for the separation of the compounds based on their charge. And the charge basis ಮೇಲೆ compounds ಅನ್ನು separate ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ use ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ ನಾವು electrophoresis ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So it is referred as gel electrophoresis because the electrophoretic plate is coated with a gel. that is usually the agarose gel, agar. I think you heard about agar. So where the electrophoretic plate is coated with the agarose gel, so where the molecules with the charge, they get separated. It means the positively charged and negatively charged molecules which moves towards their respective poles. Okay, which are attracting towards opposite poles, isn't it? So negatively charged particles which are attracting towards the positive poles, whereas the positively charged particles which are attracting towards the negative pole. So likewise, electrophoretic technique, it is nothing but it is a technique used to separate the molecules, separate the compounds from a mixture based on their charge. Similarly, you know that as DNA is a negatively charged molecule, if we follow the electrophoretic technique, the gel electrophoretic technique, as it is a negatively charged molecule, the DNA will move towards the positively charged electrodes, isn't it? So, what is the next step here? Separation of DNA fragments by gel electrophoresis. So, where the gel electrophoretic technique, okay, so in gel electrophoretic technique, the DNA fragments, they get separated based on the length. Usually the smaller fragments which moves faster than the larger fragments because of the density differences between them. The smaller fragments are having lesser density when compared with the larger fragments. So usually when the DNA is subjected for electrophoresis, so then the DNA fragments, they get separated mainly based on the electric charge, because DNA, remember, DNA is a negatively charged molecule, moves towards a positive electrode. So along with that, based on the length here, the DNA fragments are get separated. So the smaller fragments which moves faster than the larger fragments, mainly because of the density, the smaller fragments are having lesser density than the larger fragments, isn't it? So it is very similar that between two persons, one is very thin and lean and another one is very fatty. Who will run faster? The person who is very thin and lean will run faster than the person who is very much fatty, isn't it? So likewise, the smaller fragments, they get separated very faster than the larger fragments. So then after digestion of the DNA with the restriction endonucleases enzyme, the fragments of the DNA, they get separated. Okay, so this is the fourth step, that is what is called as separation of DNA fragments by means of gel electrophoresis. So this is a gel electrophoretic plate where coated with a gel, agarose gel, on which the DNA fragments are separated where under the influence of the charge, the electricity. Okay, so hence the fragments, they get separated. So then the fifth step is the separated DNA fragments, they get transferred from gel electrophoretic plate to nitrocellulose sheet, that is what is called as Southern blotting. Southern blotting. So what is the next step here? That is the fifth step. The separation of the separated DNA fragments which are found on the gel electrophoretic plate, which get transferred to nitrocellulose sheet, Okay, so this step is what is called as Southern blotting. Southern blotting because it was first invented by or introduced by the person what is called as E.M. Southern. That is a name. The person's name is given for that technique. The transfer of DNA fragments, which means the separated DNA fragments from the gel electrophoretic plate to the nitrocellulose sheet, that is what is called as Southern blotting, and the technique was introduced by E.M. Southern. So where the nitrocellulose sheet that is placed on the gel electrophoretic plate. The nitrocellulose sheet is placed on the gel electrophoretic plate and leave it for 24 hours. Okay. After that, the DNA fragments from the gel electrophoretic plate get separated or get separated into the nitrocellulose sheet. Okay. And that technique is what is called as Southern blotting. Southern blotting. Okay. So next step is, after transferring the DNA fragments into Southern blotting, so where the nitrocellulose sheet, so where the double-stranded DNA molecule, it should be separated and it will be converted into single strands by treating with an alkali. By treating with an alkali, the two strands of the DNA, they get separated. By treating with an alkali, the two strands of DNA get separated and they becomes a single strand. After that, the major step is hybridization of DNA. Hybridization of DNA by using probes. Hybridization of DNA by using probes. So this is very important step. Once the DNA fragments, they get transferred to nitrocellulose sheet by means of Southern blotting, So where the DNA fragments, so they were hybridized by using probes. Probe, what is a probe here? A probe is nothing but they are the smaller segments of the DNA which sequence is already known. It means which can bind with the VNTR sequences. I said earlier, VNTRs, that is variable number tandem repeated sequences which are found in the DNA and which are particular for a particular person. So where the probes which can bind to such regions in the DNA, the separated DNA, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ separate ಮಾಡಿರೋ DNA ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ VNTR sequences ಇದೆಯೋ ಆ specific sites ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ probes bind ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, where it can create a hybrid DNA. And usually the probes which are using here, they are radioactive probes. What is a probe here? A probe is a smaller segments of DNA. Their sequence is already known. ಅಂದ್ರೆ already ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು sequence ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. And another thing, they are radioactive in nature. They binds to specific sites on the DNA. DNA ನಲ್ಲಿ specific site ಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ bind ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ wherever they find the complementary sequences, at that complementary sequences, the probe will get bind. And where it again create a hybridized DNA. You just remember, so how a hybrid DNA that is created in Michelson and Stahl experiment by using N14 and N15, isn't it? So where the two strands of DNA which is produced, one is N15 and the another one is N14. So that is what is called as referred as a hybrid DNA, isn't it? Similarly here also, the separated DNA fragments to which the radioactive probes were added, wherever they find the complementary sequences, so where they form the double bond or where they bind with them and forming, wherever they find the complementary sequences, so where they bind with them and forming the hybrid DNA, that is a double stranded DNA is again produced. And this can show radioactivity once the sheet is exposed to X-rays, and they can show the radioactivity. Okay, so that step is what is called as hybridization of DNA fragments by using radioactive probes. By the addition of the radioactive probes, their sequence is already known, I said. So where they bind with the specific sequences on the DNA, wherever they find complementarity, so they bind with that sequences, and where it forms a double-stranded DNA, a hybrid DNA is produced. Hybrid DNA fragments are produced. Thereafter, the unhybridized DNA fragments, it means the single-stranded DNA fragments, the unhybridized DNA fragments, they were washed off. Okay, so then the next step is autoradiography. The next step is autoradiography. So what happens during autoradiography? See, the nitrocellulose sheet with the hybrid DNA strands which were exposed to the X-rays. The nitrocellulose sheets with the hybrid DNA strands, they were exposed to X-rays. Okay, so they were exposed to X-rays. After that, it will create an image. And that is what is called as autoradiograph. What is autoradiography? It is nothing but the technique of getting an image by exposing the nitrocellulose sheet to X-rays. So then we get an image. That is what is called as autoradiograph. Okay. So wherever there is a hybrid DNA, on this nitrocellulose sheet, that forms darker bands. That will form the darker band. So wherever the DNA, the hybridized DNA, on that nitrocellulose sheet, so where at those particular position, it will form the darker band. That will form the darker band. Okay. So this is what is called as an autoradiograph. This is an autoradiograph. So by exposing the nitrocellulose sheet, because the radioactive probes, so they will, once they absorb the light, the X-rays, so then they produce the darker bands. Okay, so that is what is called as autoradiograph. Okay, so this is the next step, that is what is called as autoradiography. So where the nitrocellulose sheet were exposed to X-rays. Okay, so then the next thing is, here a profile is ready. A profile is created now. So what is the next thing? The comparison between the profiles. Suppose if a murder has taken place in any place, from that place the sample is being collected. After that the same process will be done. Okay, and there are some suspects. So this was X, Y, Z, some X or Y or Z person, so they may did this one. So then the sample is also being taken from the suspects. Suspects yarindare avarinda samples tagotare from the X and Y, from the Z. So then already the profile has been created by the sample which is collected at the place of crime. After that, comparing the sample, comparing the profile with the persons who are identified as the suspects only, not the criminals. Okay, suspects identify ಮಾಡಿ ಅವರಿಂದನೂ samples ತಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Thereafter ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, the same procedure will be followed. After following that, the profile that is created by using the sample collected at the place of crime. So that not only the crime, ಅಥವಾ for example ಈಗ identification of the parentage ಯಾರು ಅನ್ನೋದು, parents ಯಾರು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದಾಗ, ಅಥವಾ paternal identity, paternal ಅಂದ್ರೆ who is a father for the child, ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದಾಗ, so the child's DNA profile is being created for the first, then it can compare with the mother, then it is compared with the father. Okay, so it will be if it is similar to the mother and the father's profile, so then the father of the child that will be identified by using the DNA profile. Not only in cases of crime, it can be also identified it is also used in identifying the paternal, that is in identifying the father, and also in the identification of the mother or reuniting of the parents and the child. Okay, sometimes if the child is missing, in such cases also the DNA fingerprinting technique can be used, or in identifying the immigrants. Immigrants means the persons enters from outside, in identifying the immigrants. Okay, so where in such cases also DNA fingerprinting can be used. Okay, so or in identifying the burnt dead bodies, andre burn ಆಗಿರೋಂಥ dead bodies, facial identification ಆಗ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, ಬಾಡಿ ಗುರ್ತು ಸಿಗ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದಾಗ, so at that condition also the DNA fingerprinting can be used. Okay, not only in places of in conditions like crime can be also used, and also sometimes DNA fingerprinting can be also used in identification of genetic disorders. Okay, so in such cases also it can be used. So but whatever it may be, the sample collected from the place or from the person, so that is first profile, then it is compared with the other profiles. Okay, so like this, once the nitrocellulose sheet they were exposed to X-rays, it will form darker bands. The hybridized DNA that will form the darker bands. Okay, so later the next step is nothing but the comparison between the DNA profile. So that is collected from the person, or it is collected from the place where the crime has happened or anything. So where then it should be compared with the samples which is collected from the different person. Okay, suppose if you are identifying a parentage, okay, the paternity means identification of a father. First the child profile is being created, the child's DNA profile is being created. So then the profile is being created for the mother. Okay, the sample taken from the mother. Thereafter the disputed father. Okay, so here also the sample is being collected. So then the formation of the bands between them, so that can be compared. The formation of bands, it can be compared with, suppose if the band is produced at this position, based on the position also the band is produced in this, like this. Okay, if this is the child profile, so then it can be comparable with the profile, the DNA profile of the mother. So because the child profile, father ಮತ್ತೆ mother ಇಬ್ರದ್ದು ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರೊಫೈಲ್ ಸೇರಿದಾಗ child's profile create ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, isn't it? Because both are the contribution for the formation of a child, so that the profile of both of them will contribute for the formation of the child. So this is like this is the profile of mother. So if the band is produced here at this position, okay, the band is produced here, which one is missing? So here also you can see the band like this at this position. If you find the band, like this, okay, so then this person is identified as a father. Okay, by comparing the bands. So if the bands are positioned at the same position on the nitrocellulose sheets, so that indicates, so this is a mother's profile and this is a father's profile, and the child's father can be identified. Okay, so that is what is called as disputed parentage anta ಕರೀತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು father ಅಥವಾ mothers ಅಲ್ಲಿ disputes ಇದ್ರೆ, so sometimes if two mothers are telling that the baby belongs to me, in such cases also the profile of both of the disputed mothers that will be taken out and the child's profile is prepared, and the both of the mothers will profile will be compared with that. Okay, so that is what is called as comparison. Compare ಮಾಡಿದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ, so then it can be identified. Okay, so this is about DNA fingerprinting or genetic fingerprinting or DNA profiling. So what is DNA fingerprinting? It is nothing but identification of a person at the molecular level or at the genetic level or at the gene level. It is what is called as DNA fingerprinting. It is mainly possible because of the presence of VNTR sequences, variable number tandem repeated sequences. Because of that, so it is possible to make out the DNA fingerprinting. So first it was introduced by Alec Jeffreys in Leicester University, UK. So later in India it was introduced in India by Lalji Singh and Kashyap. So they introduced in India. So where first thing is we isolate the sample. After collecting the samples, we isolate the DNA from the sample by using refrigeratory centrifugation. After that, the DNA is amplified by using PCR, that is polymerase chain reaction. So thereafter the DNA is subjected for digestion by using restriction endonucleases enzyme. So after that the DNA fragments get separated by using gel electrophoretic technique. So thereafter the fragments found on the gel electrophoretic plate gets transferred to the nitrocellulose sheet. That technique is what is called as Southern blotting. So then it is followed, the Southern blotting is followed by hybridization. It means hybridizing the DNA with the radioactive probes. Probes are nothing but they are the sequences of the DNA. Their sequence is already known. The short segments of the DNA, their sequence was already known. They are considered as a probes. So after that, the autoradiography is nothing but the nitrocellulose sheet. After hybridizing with the probe, they were exposed to X-rays, and it will produce a film, an X-ray film. That is what is called as autoradiograph. That is what is called as autoradiography. So thereafter, the comparison with the different profiles. Okay. So it is having some significances like identifying the genetic disease, the causes for the genetic disease, so then disputed parentage in case of the crime or the rape, whatever it may be. So then in case of identification of the immigrants, in many different cases the DNA fingerprinting or DNA profile that can be used. Okay, so this is all about DNA fingerprinting. So here we have left with only one topic in this chapter, that is molecular basis of inheritance, that is about Human Genome Project. So in next video I will discuss about HGP or Human Genome Project. Okay, thank you.